Hey friends, happy Monday. My weekend flew by in the blink of an eye. It went by so fast, and I'm a sad, sad girl because I could have used more time off, but I'm here. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Oh, you spent time with him all morning, sweeter? Oh my goodness. Doing well, doing well. All right, let's start with sisters. Sisters, I have a no, the hermit. This basically is just talking about how this is a time of quiet for you, solitude, being on your own. Nausea. I'm getting a no, the Five of Pentacles. This talks about things not working out the way that you are wanting them to. It could indicate a time for separation from someone or a struggle or a hardship. Chibi, I'm also getting a no for you. I have the Eight of Swords. So this person might be going through like anxiety, mental health issues, feeling pressure, feeling stressed out, something along those lines that could be consuming their thoughts right now. Sure. I am getting a yes, Char. I have Page of Cups, so this is having a crush on someone, at least, and feeling an emotional connection. Sweeter. Sweeter, I have a yes, the Justice card. This is talking about doing what's fair, doing what's right, understanding like the choices that you make, consequences of your actions, maybe feeling some type of like connection to you, like you are here for a greater purpose in their life. I'm getting a no for you, Teet. I have the Hanged Man. So this talks about this person not really willing to move forward, that you guys are kind of stuck in some kind of cycle, that he has a lack of direction when it comes to this connection. And to answer your question, it's a no. Shayna J. IJ, have you heard from her? I have a yes for you, Shayna J. 7 of Wands. There's still fight left in this connection here to make things happen for you both. IJ, it makes me wonder why you haven't heard from her, because you were supposed to a couple of days ago, actually. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling tired. I'm struggling right now a lot with the seasonal changes. I work at night because my husband and I try to keep the same schedule so I can spend as much time with him as possible, but that means I'm waking up and I don't have a lot of sunlight left in my day, and it's getting harder for me. But I'm very, very tired. IJ. Teet, yes, you can donate if you'd like. Donations are open. IJ, have the lovers. This is yes and no. The lovers indicates your connection that you guys have together is like very divine and sacred, but it indicates that there might be stuff that like she could be subconsciously pulling on your energy, but maybe it's not intentional. I just don't think the focus has been 100% on you today is what I will say. But the lovers indicates like an overarching like significance about your connection, so I don't want you to like take this as a bad message. Hey Amy, you're tired too. Just post your yes no question in the chat if you have one. Make sure that you guys are putting in the notes, if you're donating, put your YouTube name for me in the notes. Like if you get readings from me every day, you don't have to worry about doing that. But if you come in like once a week or every other week, just make sure you have your name in the notes just so I know who you are. Because I can't always memorize it. Amy, I wanted to take a nap, but when I had got up, I just was like getting stuff done around the house. Then my sister called me. We always talk for a minimum of 2 hours. And then next thing I knew, it was like 9 o'clock. And I knew I had to work soon after that. So I was like, I don't know. I just kept hitting roadblocks. I would have loved to take a nap today. IJ, that sounds good. Amanda K. Amanda, I'm getting a no for you. I don't think they want to get back together. I have the 5 of Pentacles, and this is talking about like a separation from each other's life. So I don't think that they're wanting to get back in a relationship with you. As far as desiring a relationship with someone else, I don't know, because that's kind of a twofold question, but you're more than welcome to donate if you'd like to look more into this. Eagle. I'm getting a yes. I have the Four of Cups and the Seven of Wands. I think you are going to get a call from this person, but I'm having trouble with the time frame, the timeline you're asking, because Four of Cups and Seven of Wands indicates like disappointment or a challenge. Even though the call is going to come, it may not arrive when you're asking. Tiana. I am getting a yes and no for you, Sienna. I have the Lover. So it indicates that this person feels a strong connection to you, but they have a choice to make. So I think it's very possible that they're open to other options besides you this month, but I don't think they're actively pursuing it. I think if it happens, it happens, but I do think they feel the connection with you is the strongest. Amy, I have a yes for you, Temperance. It actually looks like an angel if you look up the Temperance card in the Rider-Waite deck. I am getting a yes. Content. I'm getting a no, Nine of Swords. This seems to be a lot of pressure or stress to have something happen this quickly. So I don't think it's going to happen because it's just too much pressure that you're putting on yourself for this. And I don't think it's going to happen spontaneously. I think it's going to require some thinking because the Swords talks about like mentality and like doing things in a certain order, researching, that kind of thing. You're welcome, Amanda. Teet, I got your donation. We do have a couple ahead of you, but I'm going to post the list in just a minute so everyone can see where they are. Yeah, Amy, I get that too. I get heart palpitations as well, from naps especially. I'm the same way. You're welcome, Sienna. All right, culture. Hey, Luna, thanks a ton for the last two readings you did for me. Immediately after my reading with you regarding my gecko, I had a really fascinating moment of clear connection with her. Oh, I love that. We did a reading on her gecko a few nights back, and that was a lot of fun. So your question is, you had a dream almost a year ago about an event that has been in the media recently. Is there any message of confirmation for me? The dream means what I think it means. Interesting. You always ask interesting questions. Culture, I'm getting the Four of Swords. I feel like you're onto something. But symbolically, sometimes dreams we can't take super literally. So Spirit is saying that you are onto something, you're on the right path, Four of Swords, but it may not be presented exactly how you think. Or it may be more like symbolism. So they really want you to look more into this, do more research. We have the Page of Swords here. So they're saying communicate it, learn more about it, be more open to more messages coming through for you, some divine downloads, that kind of thing. Aesthetic Delta. Aesthetic Delta. I have a yes aesthetic. I have the Queen of Swords. Um, I feel like this person's good with communication. Maybe focuses a lot on like maybe more so like observations, but I feel like you will hear from this person. I don't know how soon it will be, but the Queen of Swords means that she's coming with an energy that's feeling a little guarded still, but maybe just wants to reach out so that way you know that like she received this or something along those lines. But I still feel she's kind of guarded though through this interaction. I'm just going to let you know that. It is cute, isn't it? You're welcome, culture. Recently, for you in Central Ohio, there's a chance you could have a serial killer. Oh my god, Amy, send me the article. What the fuck? Can you please be careful? Don't go anywhere. Just order your food for delivery. Order Amazon if you have to. Just stay in the house for now. Yeah, send me the article. I'll look at it. Okay, so first on our list we have James, then we have Shayna J, then we have Teets. Donations are open. They're not going to be open for super long tonight. I will let you guys know once I'm thinking about closing the list, but just keep in mind that I would like to be done with readings in about an hour, hour and a half. So I can only keep the list open for a little while longer. First on our list is James. If you're in here, James, let me know. Shayna J, you will be next after James. So I'm going to give him a minute or so to check in with me. And then, oh, hey, James. Are we just doing the usual for you tonight? Shayna J, if you would like to post your question at any point between now and your turn, feel free. I've got you down for a mini. Oh, got you, girl. Mini love spread. Okay. You want option 1? Got it. Got it. You're welcome, friend. I'll call on you when it's your turn. We're going to get started with James. Just a heads up for Shayna and Teets and anyone else that's waiting. James donates for channeled messages, love spreads, and a BOGO. So his does it's a little time consuming. So if you guys want to leave your question with me, maybe go grab a drink, take a shower, switch your clothes, whatever. As long as you leave your question with me, you can just come in and out, and I'm going to do your reading regardless if you're here or not, as long as I have your question. And then if you rather just hang out and wait your turn, that's cool too. But I just want to give you the option in case you guys have things to do. Sounds good, Shayna. All right, so this is for James. Oh, geez, Amy. All right, I'm gonna take a look at that, Amy. I'll probably have to wait till after my live, unless there's some time lagging. But that sounds really, really awful and very scary to be happening around you. It's like reminding me of the sniper. We had a sniper on the East Coast a long time ago, called the DC sniper, because I'm in Virginia. And there, my husband actually, when we were, I don't know if anybody remembers that or not, but my husband and I just drove past the place not yesterday, a couple days ago, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's where someone got shot by the sniper." So it happened close to home for him, and then it happened just down the road for me too. It was a scary freaking time, man. So I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but that's what it's reminding me of. It's like you guys living in like a state of fear until this thing gets resolved. It's kind of scary. Yeah, just make sure that you are being smart, being safe. Don't go anywhere by yourself, obviously. IJ remembers. I don't know how far north or south they went, but we were like in the heart of it. All right, James, we're working on your channeled message. Oh, hey, Philomena. It's actually like really freaking weird. I just realized that as we're talking about this during a tarot reading, IJ, if you're still in here, I didn't know this part, but the DC sniper used tarot cards during this whole thing. And that's kind of weird to bring this up during tarot card readings. Just an interesting, because I didn't know that. That's kind of chilling. I don't like that at all. Yeah, that is really weird. Because I was looking up the map just now, because I was like, wait, what? Um, and it said location of second tarot card plus note for police. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I Googled, I said, did the DC sniper use tarot cards? And said yes. Also known as the Beltway sniper, left tarot cards at some of the shooting sites. That's creepy. Creepy, creepy. So Philomena, let me add you to the list real quick. Yeah, but at the time, I was living in a place called Fredericksburg, and if you guys look up the map, there's two places where it happened. I don't live there anymore. I'm far away from there, but um, it was really kind of crazy. We're about halfway done, James, on your channeled message. Hey, IJ. Oh, you donated too? Okay, hold on. Let me check. Yes, I've got you after Philomena. Love to. Yeah, I've got you. You'll be after Philomena. You're welcome. All right, James, I'm about to send you your reading. Um, this was, honest to God, I don't know, like, if this is a message you're gonna want to get from her. Um, I feel her like very much in like this feisty energy. Um, I mean, I feel like it's her being her, but I don't know. It seems like she's getting more like feisty or something. All right. So she says, "Look, I'm not sure what you want me to say. You got your issues with me, and that's clear. You think I'm manipulative? Fine. Maybe I'm not the easiest person to deal with, but don't act like you are perfect. You sit there, always focused on what's going wrong. You got me in this role where I'm supposed to give you the nurturing mother thing, and I don't do that. But don't mistake my independence for coldness. I'm not perfect, but that's not what this is about, is it? I'm not moving and acting how you want, and that's what this comes down to." Let's do a love two for you real quick. All right, let's see. Okay, so for how she's showing up in the connection, we have the Empress. Her thoughts towards you is the Page of Pentacles. Her feelings towards you is the Five of Wands. Her intentions for the connection is the Eight of Wands, which is interesting. Blocks and influences Five of Cups, and overall energy, the Lovers reversed. So I feel like she is showing up rather independent, distant, while she's thinking about this connection. I feel like there's like this undercurrent of frustration for her in terms of like she knows things aren't good between you guys, and that doesn't necessarily sit well for her or sit well with her. But I do feel like she's trying not to think as much about this right now. She's trying to kind of separate herself from I guess what's going on with you guys, maybe try to distract herself. It doesn't mean that you're not coming up in her mind. It just means that she's trying not to think as much about you right now. And so she could just be, I don't know. I feel like maybe this is just like so difficult for me to express. I just feel like she's very independent in the way that she's has her own way of dealing with things. And like when I say this, I want you to understand she's not completely ignoring what's happening between you guys. Okay. That's something you can't ignore. You guys have too strong of a connection for her to just be like, oh, fuck this. But I think on an ego conscious level, she is like, oh, fuck this. But I think that underlying, you know how like if you like when you break up with someone, and like you're hanging out with a group of people and maybe you're focused on the conversation and maybe you're laughing, you never know, but like there's still this underlying numb gnawing like sadness that you can't get rid of. And so on the surface you're kind of showing like I'm fine, everything's fine, I'm acting fine, I'm trying to stay distracted, but you can't help yourself with this like unsettled feeling that's going on within you. That is what I feel like she's doing. She's coming through as the Empress. She's trying to project that everything's good, everything's fine. I'm self-sufficient, like nothing can touch me. I'm totally fine. But there is this underlying sense of her not fully giving to the connection to you, this emotional support that you expect from her. She just comes off distant, and that's really like kind of what she's showing up here, how she's showing up, not allowing herself to be available to you. And her thoughts towards the connection is the Page of Pentacles. So she's thinking about the connection without a sense of urgency. Like, I don't think she's willing to push forward things with great momentum. She's being more cautious, more pragmatic, more taking the back seat. Um, this is just, sorry, this is, I'm judging it as I'm reading, or like reading for you, but like I feel like you're damned if you do, you damned if you don't with her, James, because I feel like if you're trying to give your all to her and show up for her in a really positive, healthy way, she's like, fuck that. And then if you're like saying how you truly feel, how things have been making you feel, she's like, fuck that. And I just feel like you're caught in a really complicated situation right now. I don't think she's willing to take any immediate risks. I feel like there's an element of I can only give what I can give, and I don't have room for anyone to put any kind of expectations onto me. Like, her thoughts are rooted in what she's willing to offer, what works for her, like not necessarily in a place of, oh, let's collaborate, let's work on this together. She's definitely feeling conflicted. There's definitely tension and frustration here. And I know that she's not at peace with the connection, but she is trying to act like everything's fine. Like, she's trying to act all nonchalant. She doesn't care. This isn't frustrating for me, even though this is draining and combative. It's not bothering me. And that's how she's trying to come across, is that it does not affect her. Screw it. But I do think it does. And that's where I go back to the analogy of like where you're hanging out with a group of people and you have this underlying pit in your stomach and you feel unsettled, but you're trying to distract yourself. Her intentions for the connection, we have the Eight of Wands. This indicates to me that she's going to behave very erratically, doing or saying things that are not entirely thought out. Maybe like trying to get over this with you very quickly at some point where you're not really feeling like you've worked through the issue. She might come at you like in a week or two and just be like completely act like nothing ever happened, which is going to bother you because you're going to feel like, okay, what the fuck? Like, what happened here? So there could be like that kind of energy from her where she's not like willing to really like talk through things, ground things. She just wants to pretend like it's not happening. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So blocks or influences, we have the Five of Cups. You guys are clearly just emotionally carrying baggage, maybe carrying each other's baggage and your own. I feel like she's going to continue for a little while at least to keep her distance. She might be thinking more negatively because the Five of Cups talks about like focusing on the negative. Your cup is half empty, not half full. Focusing more on like what's gone wrong versus like what's going well. And that may be preventing her from fully engaging. Now, the Five of Cups does come with like, okay, I made the wrong choices and this is the result that, you know, ended here. And that's why I feel very lost right now. So she could potentially be trying to map out like what exactly went wrong here. When did, because what I feel is that she didn't expect things to happen the way that they did with you. I think it still was very unexpected. And so I think that there could be this like kind of tracing your steps, like backtracking and trying to figure out exactly what she did to create this loud reaction in response from you. So that might be something that she's thinking about as well. I don't think she trusts this connection. Overall energy, we have the lovers reversed, so definitely an imbalance and disconnection. There's a sense of separation or misalignment here, and I feel like sometimes when the lovers are in reverse, it can talk about how the ball, like, okay, so if the lovers is upright, it can talk about a person feeling like they have the power, because the lovers is all about a choice. It's all about what you decide to do with the information that you have, and that will fulfill the prophecy, that will choose the outcome or the path or the trajectory that you plan to go down. And when the lovers is upright, it talks about how the person that is the lovers feels they have the ball in their court, that it's their decision to make, that it's up to them. But when the lovers is in reverse, it could indicate that Patty does not feel she has the power here. She does not feel like anything she says or does is going to make a difference, that you're going to feel the way that you're going to feel no matter what. Hey, SB. And that there's nothing she can do to change it, that she doesn't feel like this is on her to fix. And that's probably where things are going to just be at a halt for a while, because while that's how she feels, you may feel the opposite of that. And so this is going to create this like time frame between now and whenever, where you guys just aren't really clicking, you guys aren't really connecting, because she might feel like this is not her responsibility to resolve. She might be expecting the need from you to come and apologize to her. And so as of right now, things just feel very uncertain. All right, SB, let me add you to the list as well. I might have to close the list after this. Let me take a look. I might leave room for one more person, but then I'll probably have to close the list. Okay, so you said, how's she feeling towards you after the fight? Wait, has anything that I've been saying have I been on mute this whole time? Oh my god, if I've been on mute this whole time, I'm gonna be so upset. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I was on mute. Good God. Okay. Sorry, James. Let me recap what I was saying. I pulled for how is she feeling for you after your fight. Um, so what I was saying is that I feel like there's a part of her that's angry, and resentful, about what happened. I think she's feeling misunderstood and like she feels unfairly accused of the things that you're saying. Like she doesn't feel it's fully justified. I think she feels kind of taken aback at the fact that like you could even say some of these things because I don't think that she fully agrees with them. And I feel like she's kind of in this place of like, oh God, like, is he for real right now? And I feel like she can't fully take you seriously because, again, she doesn't feel like it's justified how you responded to her. She feels like it's just an unfair accusations. And I feel like it's not a full blown rage from her. Like, she's not going to sit here and like scream at you, but I do think it's more like a simmering frustration that is hard to shake. I think that she's like not really one to show vulnerability. And I do feel like that door is closing quite a bit on that. Like, she's kind of thinking, well, if this is how he really feels, then there's like no reason for us to even continue this like at all. Um, and I don't really know if she's having a deep emotional reaction to what you said. I think, if anything, it's more pissing her off. There's definitely a feeling of like irritation, and she's definitely feeling this sense, of tension between you guys and feeling frustrated about how things go down. And I feel like she's not really having an emotional response to what you said. I think it's more so just pissing her off. Like, I don't think she believes the stuff that you're saying to her. I think that maybe certain things might have been a pain point. Maybe certain things might have kind of hit below the belt, or to her, but I feel like instead of having an emotional response in terms of like, this is affecting me and I'm going to cry about it because he really hurt me and he really hurt my feelings, I think it's more like, does he think he is? Like, why say this stuff? Like, I feel like for her, she's more like angry because she feels misunderstood. She feels like you literally know nothing about her. And that's kind of the energy that's coming through. And I feel like she's distancing herself like even more so, which is like, really enough. I mean, that's not really saying much, but I do think she's pulling back. Um, I feel like she's looking at you as like someone who's like on their high horse and like, oh, now he's really saying like how he really feels. And like, even though I don't agree with it, that's fine. That's just who he is. And like, he just wants to look down on everyone else. And like, that's just kind of the vibe. And I just feel almost like she's just annoyed. Like, I feel like she is just in this place of just, what the hell? And I think that it's hard for her to kind of push these feelings to the side because this is how she's viewing it. I think she was in shock. I think there was an element of surprise to see you actually speaking your mind. I feel like she doesn't even know if she wants to fix this. She's like, why should I even bother? And I feel like she's trying as hard as she can not to like wallow in what has gone down between you guys. Like, I'm almost getting, James, that you might be letting this get to you more than she's letting it get to her. And it doesn't mean that that's a bad, good, or neutral thing. It just means that's how it's feeling to me. Is that she's trying to kind of brush it off her shoulders, suppress it in favor of her holding on to her independence and not letting you see her emotional side. Um, I feel like she is impacted, but she's trying to protect herself in some way. And that's kind of what it's feeling like to me. She doesn't like feeling misunderstood. In her mind, she's being misunderstood. She doesn't like being accused of things. She doesn't like these accusations. She feels like because you said all the things that you said, you might really not even know her at all. And so she's kind of like, what's the point? I think she's in this place of processing. I have the Four of Swords here, so I think that she's kind of just trying to think, like, not really make any, like, it might not make any action towards you. And that's kind of going into, like, your second reading. So let me pull some cards here. Culture, girl, and I hear you say, I know. I was on mute. I'm so frustrated. But hopefully you guys heard that last reading. Let me double check and make sure. Okay, so this is the second time that I've tried to do that reading for James, and it's saying that it didn't go through. So I'm getting very frustrated right now. Did you guys hear the last reading that I just did for him? Okay, so it looks like the second time I tried to do this, it did go through. So that's good, at least. If you guys didn't hear it, just kind of like refresh and go back a few minutes, because for whatever reason, I tried to do how she's feeling towards James. I did like an entire reading and it was on mute the whole time, or it muted me out. I don't know what happened, but I didn't hear any feedback. So I was like, all right, let me redo this. And then I did it the second time, but Culture, you just scared me because I thought you were trying to tell me that the second time that I did the reading again, that didn't go through. But I just refreshed and I did listen to the playback and it looks like the reading is there. So are you guys still having issues hearing me? All right, so James, this is your last reading. This is the BOGO 2. So what is the future looking like? I feel like she doesn't know what to think. I think that she doesn't want to invest emotionally right now. She's honestly like not even concerned, James, with like how you're feeling either. I think that her protective instinct is just kicking in right now. She doesn't want to get hurt or feel like she's like gonna have to fix this. I think that it's making her question whether she should continue to try or not. And I definitely feel like there's a clear block in communication that's likely to persist. I think if anything were to come from this, as I mentioned in your love too, I would say that she's in a place where she might just randomly contact you in a couple of weeks and pretend like nothing ever happened. I don't foresee her wanting to go back down this road with you and rehash and resolve. So I think that if there is going to be any communication from her, it's going to be like, let's sweep everything under the rug and like just be normal. But again, that doesn't feel super strong for me, but I could see that as a path that she would take in this energy right now. I feel like I feel like she's not going to easily open up. And I feel like you're going to not get the emotional validation or clarity that you clearly need from her. And I feel like there's going to be emotional distance. I see here with the 10 of Wands, lots of challenge, lots of stress, lots of carrying this around. There's, maybe moments of grief or sadness. I feel like she's not entirely shut off to you, and I think that there are moments where she thinks about you and feels like a ping or a twinge of frustration or sadness over this, but it's wrapped up in her own confusion. And I think that while this is going on, there is something lingering beneath the surface, as I mentioned before. I just don't foresee her as wanting to take a lot of action to like she's avoidant, right? I just don't see her. I feel like you, James, you're going to want to get to the bottom of it. I think if you guys come back together, you're going to want to talk this through. You're going to want to make sure that you feel good, that you feel like you've been heard, that she understands where you're coming from, that she's acknowledging you, making you feel seen, heard, and known. And I feel like unless she does that, you're not going to feel good about where you are. And she's going to avoid. She would rather pretend like none of this ever happened and then reach out to you in a couple of weeks. That is where her headspace is. I feel like she does not want to go down this road with you again. I think that it's going to just take time and space to figure this out. I think you need to not really have like much expectation right now for anything to happen between the two of you. I think if you're going to expect anything, just expect nothing at all. And I think the main thing is that you guys need to address this unresolved disappointment, the shit that she's going through that makes her the person that she is, the stuff that you guys have been through together. And again, I don't see her wanting to address that. I feel nervous to tell you this because I don't want your feelings to be invalidated, but I feel like if you want to move forward with her in any way or any capacity, James, you cannot see her through the lens of manipulation. You have to find a way to see her differently because I think that you've gotten like to the point of like past no return. Like you're just pissed at her. You're just so pissed at her. And like that's going to be hard to try to foster and maintain and sustain any kind of relationship with her. The thing is that I don't think you're going to be able to stop that feeling unless and until she makes you feel validated. And so the emotional wounds that you both are carrying will need to be healed before you can truly progress forward. There is a risk here of stagnation or just things completely coming to an end because the only way forward is for you guys both to like to both work on it. And it's like, unless you see her putting in the effort, you're not going to want to put in the effort. And she's blunt, and she needs to show more consistency in her actions for you to feel secure in this. And I think you need to learn how to deal with her independent nature and not take it as a sign of disinterest. But I think that in order for you to do that, like I said, she needs to validate you. And so it's like this whole cycle. And I think you guys are risking stagnation or coming to an end. I feel like if things remain unresolved, the future could involve the continued emotional push-pull between you guys, never really fully committing to the connection. We have the Five of Wands and Lovers in reverse again. And I feel like this is just a continued struggle for balance. And without a proactive effort to address the underlying situation, it's possible your relationship will just be stagnant or end and fizzle out. And not either of you feeling like you've really gotten more out of this than what or you never received more than what you put into this, and leaving you both feeling unfulfilled, misunderstood, feeling like there's a crack in this connection and like non-closure. So like I said, I think it's going to require some time and space. Again, I want to apologize, James, that took a little longer than necessary because I was on mute for almost your entire reading, but hopefully you have everything you need now. Let's update the list really quickly here. Where's the updated list? Oh, I thought that I already typed it out. All right, next up we have Shayna J. I'm not sure if Shayna's back in here or not. All right, that is the list. Shayna J is next. Shayna J wants a mini love spread. Hey Shayna, sorry about that. This really shouldn't have taken as long as it did. All right, we're going to get shuffling for you now. Let me put your question on the screen. This is for you and the Capricorn. Let me grab a drink real quick. Ooh, that last reading for James, like maybe like hot. I think I was partly flustered because a whole entire reading went by and I was on mute. But I think the other part of it was that that energy just feels so strong right now. All right, so you and Zilo. Oh my gosh. All right, so what I'm getting for how you feel, you feel deeply connected. You feel like there's a deep attraction, respect on your part, and that this connection feels like a really strong bond, maybe, or something along those lines. That you feel that there's a significance. We have the lovers here, so there's a significance here, maybe a lesson to be learned. You feel pulled or compelled to this person, and you feel like there's something to figure out. Like, you got to know what this is, you want to know more about it. You're willing and open to explore this. Potentially there's a soul connection. Maybe you're, and again, as I mentioned in the last reading, the lovers has to do with a sense of choice here. So you could be weighing your options here between two decisions when it comes to him. But I feel like you want to explore this further, is what I'm getting from it. I feel like for him, well, let me go back to this one for you, because I do feel like there's a sense of restriction on this, though, for you. And I want to understand if that's because of what he's showing you or if that's how you really feel. So feel free to elaborate that or not. But for him, I have the hanged man. So there's a sense of emotional suspension or uncertainty. He is reflecting deeply on the relationship, but he may need more time. He might need time to gain clarity, to take a look at this as a whole. You seem like the person who's looking at things like the details, and he looks like he's looking at things from a farther perspective. Like, he's looking at things from farther away, like the big picture, and you're like the details, which tells me that in any case you guys are really compatible. But I feel like for him, he's feeling a bit stuck or unsure about like which direction to take. And I think he's just saying, I need more time. I need more time to figure this out. Now, he's not rushing to make any big decisions, but what I will say about the hanged man in a positive regard is that this is like somebody who's willing and open to look at things from a different perspective. So maybe he feels too close to it and he feels like he needs to get better clarity. So he's going to take a step back and look at things differently. So Shayna, if you have brought something to his attention, if you've said something to him, or you're wanting him to look at you differently, this is the time that would probably be good for that to happen, because he is open and willing to see things from a different perspective right now. As far as your intentions, we have the Empress. I think you're seeking nurture and a loving and fulfilling connection with him. The Empress here is the card of abundance and unconditional love. And you likely want to create a space of like intimacy, closeness, long-term connection with him, emotional growth, like, deepening this bond, like just basically like feeling like this is investing long-term over time. Wait, you said, yeah, you made it ODF. Girl, you're gonna need to elaborate. Are you Gen Z? I don't even know what you're saying to me right now. Like, what is ODF? Is it like official? Oh, official. Okay. Only issue is he's struggling financially, which has put actual dating on pause. I don't want you to take his hesitancy as um as like a negative thing. He seems like the type of person that just needs to take things slowly. Like, he needs to feel it out, and he needs to make sure that these are the right moves that he's taking. He is open to a new journey. But it's he's wanting it without expectation. He doesn't really have like a clear roadmap. So I think that he knows that there's a lot here that can be like, if you guys get ahead of yourselves, then everyone's going to end up hurt. And so I feel like, oh, okay, no, you're good. I was like, does this mean something? I don't know. So, he's embracing the unknown. As I said, he's in a very open mindset where he's looking at things from a, like, willing to look at things from a different perspective. But And I think that he's willing to be on board with things being official, Shayna. But I think just don't ask him for like the next thing tomorrow. Like, don't ask him for anything else right now. Like, official is about the most that he can give to you. I think that he is excited, trusting that things will unfold in his own time. And you know, looking forward to exploring the connection with you. But I don't think he's fully committed to a specific path here. This feels like a fresh start, and he is open to seeing where things go. But I think that if you ask too much of him in the beginning, that is going to scare him away. This was a big deal to him, as I'm sure it is to you. And I think you guys just have to let it simmer. Sometimes people can go, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? Like, for instance, you start dating. Okay, when are we going to become official? Okay, well, when are we going to get moved in? And okay, well, when are you going to propose to me? When are we going to buy a house? Now that we did all this, when are we going to get married? Now that we're married, when are we going to have a kid? It's like, just don't do that to him right now. Like, don't be like, okay, now that's checked, let's move on. Like, I think just enjoy where things are at this time, and just like respect the fact that he's not fully clear about how things are going to move forward with you. I think that he's set on being in a relationship with you, and I think you need to trust your intuition. But there are subtle energies here that are not immediately apparent, and I think that if you're feeling like you're asking too much of him, or you're wanting too much from this connection, like, try to address that yourself. Like, is this fear? Is this insecurity that may be clouding judgment? Or is this what I really want? I hope I'm making sense. I just think it's really important that you guys just really enjoy this time together as it is now. And I'm sorry to hear that, like, he's having an issue with like things financially. So not being able to like go out and do things. But what I will say is that you guys can still do things that don't cost money. You know what I mean? Like, you guys can, I don't know, as long as you guys are close in proximity. If you're long distance, that might be hard. But you can still do things that don't cost a lot of money, but you can still feel like he's putting energy and effort into this, because you are official after all. You want to feel like, okay, I have a boyfriend, like I'm in a relationship, of course. Yes, that's the thing, is I think he just doesn't want to get ahead of himself. He wants to feel confident in this. He wants to feel like, you know, you guys are deepening your bond appropriately at the right time. He doesn't want to feel uncertain or hesitant. He wants to feel like he can have faith in things moving forward. And I think that the formula to that is taking things slowly and not just rushing into the next thing. The Wheel of Fortune is here, which is great for your underlying energy. This is like good fortune, good luck, feeling lucky in the connection. Um, you know, this does talk about your relationship being in a period of transition, so giving grace to one another during this time while you guys both figure things out. Yeah, it's just that kind of vibe. So let me know if you have any questions about this. Yeah, that's perfect, because there's a lot that you can do. I mean, Shayna, you can stream something on Netflix and get some popcorn and have a date night. It does not have to be anything that's super expensive. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we're going out and doing this thing. And by, Shayna, if you have a little bit more funds to put towards thing, there's nothing wrong with you guys doing like a date night at home where you make some tortellini and get it like a bottle of wine for $10, you know, and it's not always going to be that way. He's clearly figuring things out. So like you can, and finding ways to do things too that are, because he's not going to want you to treat him like, he's not the kind of guy that's going to want you to like bring him to dinner and pay for everything all the time. That's not going to make him feel good. But if you can meet him where he's at and go, hey, this is low budget hanging out. You guys could also get like couples games and play games at home. like there's definitely like things to do and spend time with each other that's not going to require a lot of money, and it's going to make him feel seen and heard, that he doesn't feel like you're paying for everything all the time. He feels like you're meeting him where he's at, and that this isn't some charity case, like you're just doing things and trying to be thoughtful and understanding about the situation and predicament that he's in. So I definitely think you guys can work through this as long as you're understanding of his situation and all of that. I think you guys are good, and congratulations on making things official. Um so I did want to like reiterate real quick when I was talking about the hangman feeling uncertain and needing to like get clarity and that kind of thing, that also can have to do with these finances that you mentioned as well, and him feeling like he needs to figure out life and figure out what he's going to do and what his next steps are. So, you're very welcome. Thank you for your patience. All right, next up we have Teets. Teet, if you're here, please check in with me. I have you down for a mini reading, Teet. And I guess we'll go ahead and close the list. If anybody wants to add on to their reading, feel free. But let's go ahead and get this closed. All right, so if Teet is here, please check in with me. You're very welcome, Shayna. All right, Teet, we're just checking in with you. If you can get back to us and let us know what your question is. I'm going to go ahead and like your question on Cash App just to bring your attention that I'm responding. But we need you to get here within the next minute or so. Philomena, please be on standby. If you're here, please check in with me. Philomena, thank you for checking in. Teet, I put a question mark on your reading. I just need to know what we're doing for you, please. Philomena, I have you down for a mini reading. Philomena, since you checked in, go ahead and post. We'll get Teet after this if they come in. How are you doing at your job? Bodhi, leave your brother alone. He's just minding his business. Bodhi. Oh my god. My cat's trying to smother my other cat. Hey! Go. Let me try to get him real quick. He's like sitting on top of his brother's head. He probably can't even breathe. Get off. Go. He's just minding his business. Leave him alone. I don't know what your deal is. I think what it is, he's trying to annoy him. I think he's bored. And I think he wants someone to play with. And so he's trying to rile him up. All right. How is Philomena doing at her job? Philomena, I think things could be better for you. I think things are going okay. I think that what I will say that it feels like to me is that you have a sense of pride in your accomplishment and your achievement, and you feel like this is a good route to take career-wise, but there's something here that's not clicking for you. It's not feeling like it's 100% in alignment, and it's like what you're meant to do or what your calling is. I don't know if you felt that way before, and now that you're in the thick of it, you aren't really sure. But there's a lot of energy here that's indicating that any disappointment is on you. I don't think your superiors, managers, supervisors, whatever, your higher ups, I don't think they look at you with disappointment. I think that they think you do well, you do a good job. I think disappointment lies in you and in your heart, because I think that there's something that you feel you should be feeling while being here. And maybe it's not the career itself. Maybe it's just the location. Maybe it needs to be with a different location at a different, or with a different facility or something like that. But it feels like to me, you said you're very hard on yourself. Yeah, I don't feel like your superiors or your coworkers or whatever are viewing you as like you're doing a bad job. I think that a lot of that hardship you're putting on yourself. And I feel like there's something that doesn't feel like it's quite clicking for you. And like maybe you wonder if there's something else you should be doing or somewhere else you should be doing this work. Because I feel like maybe you're just like looking for another opportunity for something to happen. But there's a lot of like, Five of Pentacles, which talks about challenges and hardship and feeling like you're not measuring up and you don't have what you need or the resources that you need, or you're worried about getting fired, or you're worried about some type of hardship. And the Tower is here indicating that it feels like you're just waiting for the shoe to drop. You're waiting for shit to hit the fan. And I know that. I know that you love your job. I just feel like there's an energy about you being at this specific facility that isn't quite clicking for you. And again, it could be your confidence in yourself. You say you're very hard on yourself. Maybe if you start giving yourself more credit, you'll start feeling differently. But there is this feeling of this energy I'm checking in with you that feels like there's some type of like things aren't like measuring up to where they could be. And I don't know if that's because of your hard on yourself. I don't know if that's because you're comparing yourself to other people. You're worried about what other people think. I truly don't know what it is. Or maybe the facility that you're at, maybe the career is right for you, but you should be working somewhere else with a different group of people. I'm not quite sure, but it just feels like you're just not sure. Like you just don't know if you're doing a good job. You don't know if you're, I think you're just very worried. You feel very concerned about like the opinions of others and your own opinion of yourself as well. But again, I don't think your higher ups or your coworkers feel like you're doing a bad job. I think there's something here that could be better. What could be better for her? 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 I have the Star in reverse and the King of Swords. I think maybe looking at things more objectively would be helpful. If you feel like you're having an emotional response to things, try to look at things with a more like clear mind and like more objectively. So don't judge yourself too hardly. Um so are you worried about job security? Is that what this disappointment feeling is? Is that you have a lot of concern about your status here? Because I do have the Five of Pentacles. Maybe you're worried that like maybe you're worried they're gonna let you go and like you don't want to be let go, so you're scared of that. I just don't feel that your superiors are feeling like you're doing a bad job. I think that they're following the guidelines in the system set in place for them and doing what they have to do. So, for instance, if you're on probation, whatever it is that you did that like put yourself there, that's not because they wanted to do that to you. It's just because it's protocol. I don't think your superiors look at you as like a bad hire. Like they look at you as they're like, she's a good person, she does her job well. So they maybe they don't like the choices that you've made, but you said yeah, that's it. So like that's I guess the part where I feel like you feel things could be better because you're like you don't want this feeling hanging over your head anymore. You're waiting for like the shit to hit the fan or the shoe to drop, or like chaos to ensue. So, I think just do what it is that you can to get yourself in a better status at your job. Um, I'm sorry that things are so strict for you there. That must be extremely stressful for you. But I want you to know that the higher ups that are like basically like setting the rules in place, they're not like what is the word? They're not singling you out. They're just doing what's being asked of them. Okay? They're doing what's asked of them. They're doing what the protocol is. I think they want you to do better. I think they want you to get yourself out of this situation. I don't think that they're like on a war path and like singling you out. If that's what you're feeling, I'm not picking up on that energy. I think that they just want you to do better. So that way, like, this doesn't have to happen. That's such a long time, Philomena. That's like YouTube jail. It's 3 months for YouTube as well. Maybe that's just like the standard. I don't really know. But I think just keep your chin up. I think keep doing your job well. I think keep showing up, making wise decisions. And maybe this is just going to be a lesson for you. All right. So Teet, is Teet here? If you can check in with me, please. Next up we have IJ for a love 2. IJ, if you're here, please check in. And then after that, we have SB. I have IJ's question and I also have SB's question. Hey, Aesthetic, you're very welcome, friend. I wasn't sure where you ended up going, but I was like, I'll just do his reading. All right, we are shuffling for IJ now. I don't know where Teet is. Teet, if you come back like later on, you'll have to catch me next time I'm live, or you can send me a message on Instagram, and the next time I'm doing readings, I'll get yours done. I just need to know what your question is. So this is for IJ. We're going to shuffle for him now. IJ, if you're in the room, let me know. And you wanted a love 2, I believe is what you said. Love 2. All right, IJ, we are working on you. Let me put your comment on the screen. Oh, you said you're going to be knocked out soon. I just realized. Okay. So, IJ, this is for you. Let me go ahead and send you your timestamp. Okay, so we have the Page of Cups, Five of Swords, King of Cups, Ace of Swords, Six of Cups, and the Magician. Overall, this is a really good reading. I'm going to start off with the kind of conflicting card, which literally means conflict because it's the Five of Swords, that I feel like she's dealing with some type of mental conflict when she thinks about you, or some type of mental anguish, because I think that sometimes it can hurt or be mentally difficult to think about something that we aren't actively pursuing even though we want to. And so maybe there's some type of emotional or mental battle that she's going through. And I feel like there's this kind of challenge or unfinished business or unresolved whatever that she's got going on in her life. And I feel like she's trying to like maybe steady herself, or I think what it is, and here I am not even knowing the answer to what I'm trying to say because I feel like I'm tapping into her energy of this confusion. She doesn't know what to say. I feel like she's having a hard time being convicted and certain in the fact that she wants to pursue you. I think, and I'm also getting a flavor of fried rice right now, which is really weird. I feel like she constantly toys with the idea. She likes to fantasize about it. She likes to think about it, but she can't for the life of her settle on pursuing you. She can't settle on that. Be certain and be convicted and saying, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want. And I feel like that's where the Five of Swords comes into play, because I think she makes up her mind in one moment, and then the next day she's like, wait, there's still these other things I want to do first. I think she stresses about you moving on, you being with someone else, her not getting to you in time. So then she thinks, well, then that means I've got to rush my timeline here. But then she's like, but I'm not ready. And I think honestly, she just has a hard time settling on you and in a relationship in general, but you. And how she's showing up for the connection is that I do think she wants you to see a sense of vulnerability in her. And I think she wants you to see that she's curious and spirited about your connection and that she's willing to communicate with you. I think that she wants you to feel like she's being receptive and engaging, and um, she wants to show a bit of affection towards you as well. She feels that you are, or she feels that she has a strong, deep feeling for you. I guess as far as what would be appropriate for the status of your connection, and that there's also this spiritual and energetic connection which just supersedes time and space and all of that. These feelings are inside of her, on an emotional level. And I feel like she feels secure with you in a way that can't really be expressed or understood. There's just something about you that makes her feel calm and cared about when it comes to you. And I feel like she values you. And I feel like she feels that this can basically have a deeper meaning. I also feel like with her, I'm getting very tight, heavy chest. And so I feel like the idea of pursuing something with you can likely send her into an anxiety attack. And it's not because of you specifically, it's just the idea of, I guess, going off her beaten path, going, and forging her own future and stuff like that. I think that's kind of scary to her. Her intentions for the connection is for breakthroughs just as a whole. I think she wants this connection to be victorious. I think that she wants to be able to give you clarity and just kind of bust through any confusion that could possibly be going on here. The blocks or influences, the Six of Cups. It's a card associated with nostalgia, past memories, maybe past relationships. In this context of influences or blocks, she could be dwelling in past memories or influenced by past relationships, either in a positive or negative way, and that might dictate how she moves, that there may be some unresolved issues that are coloring her perceptions or in the way that she's taking action here. And like sometimes when we deal with these feelings that come up, it's like it's so strong. It's kind of like the feeling of like, you know, when you have a dream that just feels so real, and then that dream just sticks with you all day long. And you know it's not real, but it felt so real. And it's just kind of like coloring your entire day. And that's what I feel like happens sometimes with her Six of Cups. I think there are certain subjects or certain triggers or certain things that get brought up to her. And even though they're not real, AKA they didn't just happen, they happened a long time ago. It's that feeling that comes up that's associated with it that feels like it's very raw and real. It's kind of like the same idea as like an anniversary of a death, that it feels just stronger and harder even though you deal with it every single day. It's just like sometimes it just feels more intense. And I feel like that's kind of what's been happening with her, is that she has a lot of these like Six of Cups things that have been popping up for her and that she's dealing with, and that could be influencing her feelings or her behavior towards you. Overall, we have the Magician. It's a very powerful card. She may feel that you guys have everything you need to have like a great relationship. It represents possibility. It represents like if you want it, you can have it. And there's a sense of empowerment here, as if, you know, your connection or your relationship can be shaped or transformed by will and conscious effort. And so I think that with you, you know that, with her, she knows that. And I think it's just a matter of you guys getting on the same page at the same time. So that is what I have, IJ. I, again, went ahead and sent you your timestamp so that way you can come back and listen to this later. Next on our list, we have SB. Teet, if you're here, please check in with me. We've been looking for you. I'm trying to figure out where you are, what your question is. And last on my list, we've got SB. She sent me her questions. SB, if you're in the chat, if you want to check in with me now, feel free to do so. All right, we are going to work on the last reading of the night. This is for SB. Teet, if you see this, I'm so sorry we couldn't get your reading done. You'll just have to get me next time you see me. So first we're going to do SB, and she has a question for her person. So let's see what cards we have. We have the Moon, Six of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, the Devil. What else? Well, we're going to start there because I need to understand what the Devil is here for. Why is the Moon here? All right. Well, SB, this is feeling like a bit of a challenge here between the two of you. I think that it feels vague. I don't know how else to word that. It feels vague. It feels like your connection's a bit vague right now. And it's kind of making me feel like you're both questioning things. I don't know if you've communicated with him or not, but it feels like there's some type of clarity that's needed. So if you've told him how you feel, maybe you need that clarity. Or if neither of you have had a conversation, then maybe you both are needing that. But it feels like things just feel like neither of you are like actually able to address, nor do you probably want to address, because you want to continue to think that this is going to be something more, but things feel very up in the air, and this is really hard energy the longer that it goes on to really understand each other's feelings. There could be emotional highs and lows in relation to this connection, and there could be some insecurities that are coming through. I feel like you guys want change. You guys want it's like a dynamic of balance and an exchange. It's like you want to feel that effort. He wants to give you that effort. There's like this aspect that needs to happen with like give and take. And it feels like it's weird because I want to say that it feels one-sided. Oh, hey girl, welcome in. I want to say that it feels one-sided, but I don't think that it is. I think it's both-sided. However, it feels lopsided because you are the one in your head and he's in the one in his head. And so he may feel like it's one-sided on his part and you may feel it's one-sided on your part, but that's because you guys are just in your head and you're not actually communicating these things. So that's like really interesting. I feel like, I don't know, this is just like an association of a challenge. You said you pulled back. Did you have a talk with him? Did you have a communication with him? Like, oh, this is how I'm feeling. Because I feel earlier, if you weren't here for that, I was saying that there's like this need for clarity, and one or both of you are waiting on that clarity. It's just very obvious that there's like this vague like umbrella hanging over you where it's like neither of you really know where you stand or what's going on. You may feel the need to protect yourself and your feelings, and he might as well. You know, I think you want this to be easy. You don't want to feel like you're fighting for the relationship, and it feels like from him, I feel like he's protecting his like emotional space here. Like I feel like he's just not I don't like it. I don't like it. Whatever this is, it's not good because here's what I know. I know this man has an affinity towards you, if you will. I know he has an inclination, a strong attraction. I know that he knows your value, and I know that he sees you, and I know that you guys have a great time together. And like the part I don't like is why aren't we moving forward? And maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't have an answer, and that's why I can't get one. But the only thing that's coming back to me is just the whole, you came along unexpectedly and he wasn't ready for it. And so now he feels like he has to kind of abandon his plan for himself in order to be with you, or he has to abandon you to go with this plan, or he's thinking, is there a third option? Is this is like what's going on in his head? Is there a world in which I can continue to do this and have her at the same time? And maybe he's trying to figure that out, and that's why he's not able to give you like a clear answer in response. And like, that's fine if that's not good enough for you. I totally understand that. You said no effort thing. You feel like he tried, but since he's not trying, you feel like you tried, but since he's not trying, you won't. You made it clear how you feel a couple of times. Yeah, he seems stuck. Yeah. The devil often points to unhealthy attachments and temptations. As you guys know, I always say the devil stops you from being the best version of yourself. So he could have some crutches, patterns, or behaviors that may be difficult for him to break. And it could suggest that he is not making decisions from an entirely healthy standpoint. It's basically like you bring out of him like his highest potential. And if he's not ready to address that, if he's in a more avoidant mindset, then there's nothing you can do about it. So he may be feeling like very drawn to you, but still simultaneously feel this need to escape it. And it can bring a source of inner conflict for him. And so I think he's questioning a lot right now about your connection and what he's going to do about it moving forward. And I don't think he has an answer, but I don't know. Like, I've got to be honest, I don't feel like he's ready to lose you. But I think that he's thinking to himself, like, is that what's going to happen? Like, am I just going to end up losing her? Because, like, what do I do? He feels helpless, even though it's almost like that self-imposed restriction, like the Eight of Swords, where it's like, okay, you're doing this. It's your own doing. It's your own fault. But he still feels like it's not in his control, even though it is. The Tower is here again, girl. I don't know. Something's getting shaken up. The Tower tried to come out earlier, and it didn't. But it's showing its face officially. All right. What's to come from your connection in the coming months? Okay, SB. I think he's going to do to you what he did before. I think this is going to kind of fizzle out. And I think he's going to try to come back around and put more effort into this. I think it's almost like he's stuck in this pattern of behavior that when things start to get more serious, he disappears. So he thinks that if he waits it out a little while, comes back around, if you are receptive to it, then you guys can start from ground zero. He can spend time with you again the way that he wants to without feeling the pressure of something more that he might not be ready for. And I feel like this could be a pattern of behavior for him. And so in the coming months, I think it's very possible that he is going to do what he did before, where he's going to say, like, I see you, I see your value, like whatever it was that he did when he came back around, like I feel like that could be something that he does again. And I'm getting that because I have the Tower here, and this suggests that you guys will go your separate ways, but a revelation could come from it after contemplation, after him realizing like you guys had something special, and then suddenly the chariot of determination and victory and overcoming obstacles comes through, which could indicate a strong push towards progress and reconciling and trying to move forward together. After the introspection of the hermit, he may feel this like new lease on life, or this new sense of like, wait a second, like I don't want to lose her. And then you guys go back to the Two of Swords, where it's like, okay, what are we? Are we going to move forward? I don't really know. And I worry that you guys in the coming months are going to get stuck in a cycle again. That's what it feels like to me. And I don't know if this is just like his pattern of behavior. Maybe this is like a isolated situation because it specifically has to do with you, because he really feels a connection with you. Maybe other people he would just like let it fizzle out, but maybe with you he can't let you go. And that's, truth be told, like if I were going to put money on it, that would be what I think would happen over the next 3 months. I think you could expect kind of this cyclical behavior where it's like a little bit of separation, he comes back around, you guys spend a lot of time together, you want to know what's next, he doesn't know what to tell you, you guys fizzle out, and then he comes back around. Like that's what it feels like. And it's interesting because a lot of times people tell me, they ask me like what's to come of our connection. I think this is the first time I've picked up on a pattern of behavior that feels like it's just the same thing over and over. Now, the great thing about cycles is they're meant to be broken, and you can change the outcome here by not accepting this behavior. You can say to him, look, we've been down this road before. You see this cycle happening. I know that's so crazy. But you can break the cycle. You can say, look, we've been down this road before. Like, this isn't new to me. You've done this before. And like, there's, nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, I have the right to not put myself in this pattern of behavior again. You know who I am. You know what I have to offer. You know what I'm looking for. We don't have to start from ground zero. So if you're interested in something more with me, you can tell me that now, because I don't want to waste my time. And try to break that pattern of behavior, because like he's going to take as much as he can, because whatever you're willing to accept from him, he's going to keep doing. And so that's where it kind of makes things like, okay, next time this happens, next time he comes back around, you have to figure out a way to shift the direction that this is going if you don't want to find yourself in this cycle. You feel like his culture and religion really stop him and his family's opinion. He said he makes his own choices, but you really question it. That's tough. Yeah, that's really tough. And, that's not your problem, if I'm going to be completely honest. All right, how many channeled messages? You did a BOGO. 45. Okay, we'll pull like 8 or 9 cards for you. See what channeled messages we can get from him. All right. I'm not sure where we stand right now. There's so much uncertainty and it's hard to process everything I'm feeling. One moment I'm sure of what I want, and next I feel lost and confused. There's a part of me that wants to give in and give you everything, but I hold back because I'm afraid it won't be enough and that I'll lose myself in the process. I'm afraid I'm pushing you away. I feel drawn to you in ways that feel intense and somewhat overwhelming, and I don't know how to handle it. It's hard to let go. I don't want to make any rash decisions. I need time to figure this out. I can't ignore how much I care for you. I can't keep pretending I don't feel everything for you that I do. There's challenges here that we both see. I'm trying to sort it out. I'm trying to figure it out. So SB, that is what I've got, friends. Woo. Let me know if you have any follow-up, if you need anything clarified from tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you so much for being here. It was a lot of fun. Tomorrow I might be live, might be on offline. I'm not quite sure where the day is going to take me, but we'll see. We'll see. I want to also just reiterate, if you follow me on Instagram at Luna Affinity, you will be able to get all updates from me. I post a story every single day that I'm live or doing offline readings. The great thing about offline readings is you don't have to wait around for your turn. I email you as soon as your reading is done. I send you a voice clip just like I would here. You send me all your questions via Instagram, and as soon as it's complete, it just gets sent right to you. You can keep those readings for the future. It's just a really great way to get the same prices, but also have like a more intimate experience, almost like a private reading with me. So that is an option that I offer multiple times a week. And then obviously I'm going to be back here live again later. So whether I see you over on Instagram or see you back over here, I will see you next time. Everyone have a good night.